Try again. I saw in the night visions, and behold, with the clouds of heaven there came one like a son of man. And he came to the Ancient of Days. But the fact that a son of man can approach the Ancient of Days is a miracle beyond description. The curtain of the Holy of Holies was ripped because a son of man was able to approach the Ancient of Days. That's why it was ripped. He found a way through the firewall, if I can put it that way. It was a firewall protecting us from God. Not protecting God from us. Protecting us from God. And Jesus made a way through, and through him, so do you and I. The Son of Man was Jesus' favorite term for himself, or for the Messiah that he used throughout the Gospels. It's the most humble of the terms for the Messiah. I want to show you quickly him using it. Bear with me here. I want to get through the theology of this. Matthew 16, 13 to 16. Now when Jesus came to the district of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" Third person. He's asking about people, other people, third person. Who do they say that the Son of Man is? Third person. Talking about himself in the third person. They said, some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and others Jeremiah, one of the prophets. And then he said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Second person, who do you say that I am? First person. He's linking himself with the Son of Man. He does it all the time, actually. And Simon replied, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." That is the term Jesus used for himself. Why do you use that term? Why not use the term Messiah? Why not use the term Son of God? Because he's identifying himself with the likes of you and me. He's showing us that we, if we hold on to his hand, can come with him through the firewall. You got to kind of keep yourself really tucked in. Don't get too straight out there because you're going to get singed. But you can go through the firewall with Jesus. Man, what a thought. Let's look at what the Ancient of Days means. It only appears in Daniel chapter 7 in the Bible. The Ancient of Days is an expression applied to Jehovah, to Yahweh. We're saying about Yahweh. 3 times in the vision of Daniel. In the sense of eternal, in contrast with all earthly kings, his days are past reckoning. That is very true. But I want to say it's incomplete. Because it's not just earthly kings that God, the Father, is comparing himself with. He's comparing himself with spiritual kings too. If you read Ezekiel 28 or Isaiah 14, I think it is, he speaks about these beings that are being created. He says, "You were there at the beginning. You were there in the garden. You walked amongst the garden with God." But he doesn't say you were there before the beginning, because every spiritual being has had a beginning. He says in Ezekiel 28, you were created, talking there about one of God's enemies. You were created at the beginning. But you're not as old as the Ancient of Days. You do not hold as much authority as the Ancient of Days. Doesn't matter how big and powerful and old and ancient some big serpent is, it is not as big and powerful and ancient as the Ancient of Days. It is the most exalted term for our God. And the Son of Man has received his kingdom and all of his authority, Matthew 28. Because he is worthy, Revelation 5. God has found a way to make the extremes meet. I take my hat off to all the financial types who do budgeting. My wife is one of them. She's phenomenal. She manages to make these ends meet somehow every month. Well, our God managed to make these ends meet. The Ancient of Days and the Son of Man. We take it for granted. And here's the kicker, my friends. You are seated with him in heavenly places. Ephesians 2, verse 6. And that's just the beginning of your fellowship with the Spirit. Next time Satan gets into your face and tells you you're no good and you're worthless and you're sinful, and you remind him of where you are. You are through the firewall. You are seated with the Almighty in the presence of God, the right hand of Christ, seated with him in heavenly places. And you use that term. You say, I am seated with the Ancient of Days. How old are you?